Welcome to the Air Power Airwaves, the Air Power Manufacturing Solutions podcast series where we talk about manufacturing issues that impact you. Hey, it's Travis Stirewalt. Welcome to another episode of Air Power Airwaves. Today, I've got two guests. I've got one who's never been here before. This is Nick Dees.
Correct.
Graco. And I've got Kyle Crawford returning for probably the third or fourth time now.
Yeah, you've had me in a row.
Yes, that's awesome.
It's been fun, though, so thanks.
Yeah, we're having a good time. So Nick is the sales channel manager with Graco, and Kyle is the sales and marketing leader for Air Power. So both of them play multiple roles, and today they're going to be podcast guests. I am Travis Stirewalt. I'm an application engineer with Air Power, and behind that camera over there is the most important person in the room, the guy that makes it all happen, Jai Armitage, our marketing manager with Air Power. He directs and makes sure that this thing goes very smoothly, and does all the editing and a lot of creative and a whole lot of other stuff. So, Jai, hey, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great, man. Thanks.
All right. So here we go. If you have any questions on this podcast, you can call Air Power at any time, 1-800-334-1001. If you want to look up, in this particular case, anything about Air Power or Graco, which also has a website within our website on our brands page, you can go to airpower-usa.com. And to catch all episodes, past episodes, we've been doing podcasts now for 3 years.
A couple years now. Yeah.
It's 3 because we started at the tail end of COVID or right at the beginning of 21. So that's there's pretty much one a month for all those years. So go back into airpowerairwaves.com to check all that, or our YouTube page, whichever one you want. All right, so you guys, I just saw some recent posts on Air Power's YouTube page and social media about an event that took place.
That's right, yeah.
And were you there?
I was there. You saw my
Okay.
selfie.
Okay, all right. Oh, that's right. That's right.
It was a selfie with Jerome and Rodney, who did not want that selfie. But yeah, it was as we entered Graco. We went up to Minnesota. They got a brand new facility up in, I think you'll call it French Lake.
Yeah, French Lake, Dayton, Rogers. It's kind of a combination of the areas there.
But it's awesome. Like brand spanking new. They're building labs, process pump areas. I mean, it's an absolute showpiece. Excellent.
So what happened? What went down there?
So this was the second year we've done this. So this was Graco's strategic partnership event, and this year was called #Accelerate.
Okay.
So acceleration of growth, and it was really focused around the launch of 4 new products.
So this is Graco's team, and we had a selection of our
We did.
group that went up and just basically trained and immersed, right?
Yep, trained and immersed in Graco. There was a lot of fun, too. We also went to a baseball game. We went to a Twins game. I'd never been to a pro baseball game, so I thought that was super cool. But yeah, we immersed in Graco. There's a leadership track, and there was a new product training track. And so Air Power sent teams up to do both tracks. And the 4 new products, nothing sets off a good strategic partnership meeting than fog machines, strobe lights, and like a new product launch. And that was how this one started out. So
Those lights went down. Oh, that room came alive.
That's hilarious.
Everybody got real quiet because we were like, man, we've never, like, Graco's not necessarily done this before, right? Like this big launch event. So it was really cool. It was exciting to see Graco excited about the 4 new products. And the 4 new, I mean, they're really, really cool products. So the big 4, we're only going to talk about one today. We could talk about all, but I don't think you want to be here that long. But the 4 new products, so one's the eFlow DCI. Nick, you going to give us like a 1-second skinny on what eFlow DCI is?
So it's a higher horsepower electric driver for most of your pumps.
Okay.
So whether it's flow rate, pressures, what have you, we've got that extra push to move the material.
Okay.
And then the really cool thing that you can couple to that is a DCI link, which gives you all the data. So if you want to like watch your pump, control your pump, digitally, you can do that.
All right.
which is super cool. The next one was the one shot, true shot.
True shot.
One true shot. 1K true shot.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. What's the 1 second skinny on that?
So the true shot is a single component dispense system. So we need a meter dispense anywhere less than 50 cc's.
Okay.
Very, very precise bead applications, things like that.
No mixing involved. It's just the one component out.
Well, not yet.
Okay. All right. All right.
Don't let that cat out of the bag.
That's for another podcast.
But it's super cool technology, very precise, really adapted for like a GSD table or some sort of XY table or a robotic application.
Right.
So that was super cool, which pairs well into kind of the direction that we're going with more automation. And then the next one, which is also like one that we're super thrilled about. This might be like a 4-podcast series, but is the Promix V
Okay.
or Promix 5.
Called the V.
The V.
I've heard about 6 different names.
Yeah,
but-
so it's the Promix V, and it is the new 2K paint ratio, meter mix platform for Graco.
and it's really a platform design. So it's meant that you can have, very simple application, and you can mix paint on ratio and spray it, and you can kind of build on that. That gives you all of the feedback, the ratio assurance, and everything you could want out of it.
Okay.
Going towards kind of like a headless design that we see on our tool systems, web-based IP address type. You log into the system, control the system, very digital,
Okay.
very exciting, and that'll be launched later this year.
Correct.
So there'll be more on that. So that was 3 of the
3.
4. Yeah. But
Let me guess.
the 4th one is why we're here today. So this is the Stellair. So there's a Stellair manual, or I'm going to call it a Stellair hard body. I don't know what the proper,
Yeah.
And then there's the Stellair ACE, which is also manual, but it is carbon fiber, and it is bad to
Man.
the freaking bone. It's awesome.
It is something else.
So we talked about this. I had dinner with Nick last night, so we were
Okay.
able to get through some things, talk about this. Introduced him to Lexington Barbecue right down the road.
North Carolina barbecue.
I'd asked him if he'd ever eaten there, and he was like, "No." I was like, "You have to eat there." So
I haven't lived. I got to tell you, I haven't lived.
got him the coarse chopped dark plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was quite happy. I'm glad.
The pecan pie set it off, though.
Yep, there you go. All right, so we have gone through this to try to figure and make sure we give you the proper details on these guns. So we're going to follow a little bit of a list of things that we want to make sure that we check off. The first thing, Kyle, you just mentioned the composite version. There's a what's the word? Aluminum body, and then there's a composite body. So, Nick, you want to talk about the basic differences between the two and why would you choose one versus the other?
Yeah.
And we'll get into some of those other details later. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. So what I would say is the aluminum body. So we've had the Stellair automatic out for, I'll say a year or so now, which is our cartridge design. So the biggest thing that sets both of these guns apart is that cartridge design. So what I can do very simply while we're sitting here talking is pull my trigger off and replace my fluid cartridge.
All right.
I take a new one off the shelf.
Put it right in there.
My gun's rebuilt.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
This day and age is all about uptime. It's all about, promotion of efficiency. One of Graco's buzzwords last year actually was, this year was #accelerate. I think last year was #efficiency, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
And all about just promotion of uptime, ease of use, ease of maintenance. There's no taking that gun to the maintenance crib. You literally can just do a 1 cartridge swap. You're back operational.
Yep. Is there a particular reason why somebody would want either the ACE or the aluminum body? Give us an idea of who's the proper customer for each type.
Sure. Yeah, so each one, it really depends. If we're looking at an air spray application, either's going to be a good solution. But the benefits you're going to see from the ACE to the aluminum body Stellair are swivel fittings, right? So it's much easier from an ergonomic standpoint. Again, and I think the biggest thing is probably going to be weight. Yeah. So it obviously you can't see it in the video, but these two comparatively, this is just over 400 grams. This is just over 200.
seen them. I haven't held them yet. Oh my goodness,
It's wild when you put it in your hand.
that is so
Yeah.
light. Holy moly! Like,
And what is Graco? I know Travis, you referenced composite, but I think it's is it all-star carbon fiber?
Yep. So the second gun we have here is the ACE, and we're calling it the ACE because it's all-star carbon fiber ergonomics.
I cannot tell you how shocked I am right now. I'm not playing this up for the camera. First time I've ever held both of these. There is a significant difference between the two of these. I'm looking at basically the same gun. This has got some weight that would be. It's still not super heavy.
No, not at all.
But if you were holding this all day, you would get a little fatigued throughout the day. Like if you just kept going and going and going, not compared to some of the others.
Right.
This one right here is like featherweight. This feels like I'm holding a Hot Wheels truck in my hand, like that weight. It's just
That's a unique comparison.
super
but yeah.
light. It's just. I mean, I collected.
Wouldn't have been
Hot
the first
Wheels.
thing that came to
I
my
collected
mind.
Hot Wheels for a long time, and the only thing I can really
Yeah.
think about that. But anyway, yeah, that's a trip.
Yeah, thank
That's
you.
a trip.
Now,
So
yeah.
Yeah, the Stellair aluminum body is very similar to the Air Pro gun from a weight standpoint. Actually, I think it's a little bit less, right? And then we've had some recent developments in technology and materials that we can use and ways we can manufacture, which is kind of where the birthplace of the ACE came from.
So let's start down a list of things that we want to make sure we cover on that ACE.
Mhm.
So ergonomics. We just discussed part of that. The weight itself, the lack of a heavy body that you've got to carry around all day long.
Yep.
So it's very lightweight. Toolless maintenance was something we brought up.
Correct.
Let's talk about that. And can you demonstrate anything that we need to demonstrate? Well, you just did.
Yeah.
You just pulled out the cartridge, but
Yep.
are there any other things that you can
Nick, you want to have a race?
demonstrate?
You want to race?
You want to race? You want to see who can take out the cartridge?
I pre-loosened yours, so
Isn't going to matter. All right. Are you ready?
ready?
All right, go. Oh, I'm fumbling.
That one you need a wrench for,
Oh, no.
but I win.
Golly.
That was
I'm
about-
almost
that
there.
was about 10 seconds.
Almost there.
It's almost
All right.
like I've done it
11
before.
seconds,
All right, I'm done now.
There
What am
you
I
go.
at? 15 seconds?
probably.
Okay.
So what you can't see on this gun too is the hose connections. So
Okay.
available on the ACE,
Show it for the camera right there.
we've got toolless hose connections. So I've got an O-ring seat, and I think we've actually got a set of hoses here.
There you go, sir.
Try the
The other one.
Yep.
Here you go.
Perfect.
There's
Thank
that
you.
one.
So what you can see here is on the bottom of this gun, we've actually got an O-ring seat, and it's machined out. So quite literally, to attach these hoses, no tools are required. It's finger tight and you're done. And we did the same thing on the airline. So very similar fitting, O-ring style seat, no tools required. We're sitting here talking. My painter's back up and spraying.
And tightening that by your hand is
all it takes.
adequate enough. You're good to go.
Yep. These are both also swivel fittings. So again, right, we touched on ergonomics. So, as you're pivoting back and forth and rotating, that gives you that flexibility and that range of motion.
So that's a very compact gun. I would imagine that by knowing that the cartridge comes out so easy, you've got your fingers can loosen up the hoses.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine your cleaning time is pretty fast.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's a lot faster. So actually on this style of gun, and again, we started with the Stellair Auto with this cartridge style design. This cartridge, how it was designed, is a very laminar flow. So there's not very many, I'll call them dead spots, right?
Okay.
Angles,
Yeah.
places where paint can collect. So on average, to flush this gun compared to the other ones, you're likely going to be about half your solvent usage. So if
Okay.
you're doing color changes, end of the day cleaning, things like that, you're going to see your solvent usage cut in half.
Okay.
Just to flush this gun out.
And then you also informed me, I guess the parts are interchangeable. So
They are.
from the hard body or the aluminum to the carbon fiber,
Correct.
we can swap needle nozzle, air cap combos.
Yep.
Based on what type of material you're spraying.
Correct.
Very cool.
So if there's a need for that metal cartridge, and again with the ACE, it's a completely composite cartridge, except for obviously the needle is stainless. But if you needed that metal cartridge for whatever reason, I'm obviously going to add a little bit of weight, but you can put that cartridge in this gun.
Okay. Now, we've talked about the cartridge. What about the air caps? I mean, do we have a wide variety of air caps that we can use on this for different applications?
I'm glad you said wide. So we actually have, and I know Rodney got a chance to use it when we were in French Lake.
Is that the video you showed me last night?
It was.
With the blue, you spraying blue paint on that? Okay.
We have what we call a wide pattern air cap that can go up to 24 inches. So if you've got,
That's some serious coverage.
I mean, if you're painting, the side of a dumpster or a truck or a bus or what have you, you can hit that entire pattern in a lot less strokes for your painter.
That's phenomenal.
Yep. So some of the other air caps we do have a trim air cap. So quite literally the opposite, right? We want to hit a small piece of trim. We've got a wood air cap. We've got high solids air cap, an adhesive air cap, general industry, automotive. There's a few different options.
Okay.
And really the biggest difference when it comes into the different designs is the air porting. So coming out around and how we atomize in the direction of the air is really where it comes into play.
Yep. All right. So we know this has been around with the automatic version. So it's pretty the actual application. What's the proper word I want to use? The actual engineering of this is pretty simple because you've already had it done with the automatic, and the automatic was running smooth. So who's the ideal user for this gun? Like who should be watching or listening right now that should be the one targeting, trying to get this gun into their shop?
So I would say anybody with an application that you're spraying materials at 300 PSI or less.
Okay.
I know that's super vague and super broad, but it's true.
But it's a lightweight gun with super easy maintenance. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it is a broad spectrum of people who'd be interested in that.
So instead of pulling this gun down, sending it to maintenance, having to put another one online, or wait some number of hours to have that gun serviced, I can have a painter step out and service that gun in between parts come down a line.
Yep. Well, especially if it's finger tight,
Mm-hmm.
fittings, you're good to go. I mean, if you have the supplies there beside the booth, and you're able to do that.
Yep.
And remind me if I'm wrong, it's pressure feed only
Correct.
for both these units?
For both of them.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to make sure we cover some of these things to make sure we get it all. 27 improvements from the original design.
Correct.
There is a list.
There is a list.
There is an elusive list. We have not received that list yet. But we will have that list, and we're going to reference it on this video. But we talked about this last night. I want to go over several of those, and I don't want to miss any of them. But some of the highlights.
Yeah.
Gun balance.
Correct. Yep. So when you pick this gun up and you hold it, right? And we'll talk about some more of these. But when you hold the gun it just wants to point at the part. It's just how it's balanced and how it fits in your hand, and with the finger rest up top, it wants to paint a part. That's its purpose.
Wait, I was looking, you said finger rest, and then I didn't know what you were talking about. So
Yep. So these little
that little wing right there?
we'll call them winglets, right on the side of the
my
gun.
finger up there like I'm pointing at you.
We have it depends on the painter, because there's some people that you do a 2-finger paint.
Yep.
There's some that'll just do a 1 and rest that index finger up on top. It just depends on the painter, but it's there if they need it.
Ooh, I kind of like that.
Good deal.
Yeah,
Put my finger under it. Like it just sits there.
you can do that too.
Very cool.
All right. Now, you did say something about this earlier. You did say that you use less solvent. What's been the study so far of how much savings in solvent as far as the percent?
Yep. So quite literally what we did is we took some comparable guns, right? The Air Pro being one of them, loaded it up with paint, sprayed apart, flushed it out. How long does it take until we can get clean solvent coming out? And then we did it with this cartridge style gun, and the usage is actually it's a little bit less than half, but we typically say half.
So you got a 50% savings in solvent. I hope you heard that, those that are watching it, because if you have issues right now sucking down solvent in your facility and you've got permit issues with the amount of solvent you're using, this gun could make a massive impact. You also said no specific tools needed for repair.
Correct.
On either gun or just the ACE?
Just on the ACE. So no specific tools on the manual Stellair as well.
But you do need a standard...
just a wrench to take.
Just a wrench.
Yep.
For the hose.
Correct.
Okay.
And for the nozzle.
Yeah, the ACE actually has a hex built into the trigger.
Okay.
So the trigger is your tool to remove that. So
that's handy.
It's convenient. And it doesn't...
You don't have to reach for another tool. The tool's already
right.
on the...
Right.
And it's the same trigger between the two guns, correct?
Slightly modified.
Slightly modified?
That one doesn't have the hex on it.
This is also one of those carbon fiber triggers?
Correct. And then when you want to tighten it up, you don't have to crank down on it. You'll feel that stop. That's all it takes.
Get it in there.
That's all it takes. Pop your trigger back on. I'm painting.
Perfect.
It's almost too easy.
What about the knobs, Nick? Like, it appears that they're very similar.
They are. So these are a little bit different than what we've had in the past. These have a detent. So as you can,
I don't know if you can hear it.
So people tend to like that because, every painter's a little bit different, right? You got to clean the gun, you service the gun, somebody walks up and, spins your fluid knob or your fan air and they change it. Now, instead of, okay, where do I like it? Where's my right setting? Okay, I need to be, 4 clicks from open.
Yeah.
Right. So it just feels good, right? It gives you that ability to know where that fan pattern is.
I can feel it and I can hear it.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And it looks like it's keyed. Like I actually have a visual indicator as well.
Correct. Yep. And on the ACE, we're going to have different colored caps that can go on here, so that you can hang. If you've got 6 different colors and you don't want to flush after each one, you can hang your gun or have different painters so everyone knows which gun is theirs.
Perfect.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to get into talking about these hoses. So we talked about new hose material. I know we pulled this up here a minute ago, and you guys can take these over. And what has changed in the hose?
So
technology.
Yeah, in addition to the gun, we kind of took a look at the hoses, right? Because the gun is great, but you don't paint like this. Right? You always get something
to it.
Exactly. Right? This is great, but this is not real life.
It doesn't push air from just an open hole in the bottom of
you gotta blow on it. So, but we took a look at the hoses because when we did those ergonomic studies, there's a lot of things came back in addition to the gun, but about the hoses.
Okay.
So what we did is we took some technology similar to the electrostatic lines that we use. Mm-hmm. We altered that. We made a few changes. So on this ACE gun, these hoses are super lightweight. We have them in a whip hose option. So I've got, these ones are 6 foot long. So I can keep the hoses that I already have on my spray system, whether it's 25, 50 feet, and I can just put this whip on. So now...
Let's make sure they can see that one.
Yep. So now I can independently swivel my fluid line and my air line. So as I'm pivoting, you still get that range of motion.
It's not pulling everything around and kinking it up. Yeah.
You're not, instead of just moving the gun, you're not trying to move the entire hose bundle with you.
Which is super important if you've got a complex part and you're moving around.
Yeah.
Yep. Because ultimately, if your painters are happy, you're going to get good parts.
And I was noticing when I was playing with it, just like the ability for it to hinge upon itself.
Mm-hmm.
The hoses themselves.
Correct. Yep.
So is the same connection, same type of hose on the aluminum body?
It's a little bit different.
Okay.
So these ones are the toolless connection. Same hoses, same hose material. These are the completely toolless. That's going to be a little bit more standard.
Okay.
So still have the 6 foot whip for that flexibility, but those ones are a fixed hose. They're not a swivel.
Okay. All right. And you have to manually wrench those tight.
Correct.
Okay.
Just have a crescent wrench or something available.
Yep.
Metric or standard?
I don't know if it matters. Trying to trick me out here. Left-handed.
Is there anything else that we wanted to cover? I remember the color coding. You said the cap.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so the ACE gun is going to come with some different colored caps on the back. So if you've got 3 shifts worth of painters, and I set these detents to where painter number 1 likes it, and painter number 1 doesn't want painter number 2 touching their gun. Now I can put a different colored cap on, and I know that's my gun. Don't touch my gun.
That's pretty cool. Well, I mean, you go into some of the cabinet shops that were around. They're spraying
I see that for a bunch of colors.
8 different colors. Yeah, they could put a different cap on the back or whatever for whatever the color is that's coming through the line.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
And I guess the only other difference between the two is this is a traditional quarter 3/8, much more traditional gun, right?
I would say so.
And that one is a quarter and an eighth.
I believe so.
Which also helps with the ergonomics, the flexibility, the lightweight of it.
Yep. So that's going to be more of a replacement for our
Oh,
Air
yeah.
Pro,
I didn't even notice that.
where this is the Air Pro 2.0.
Okay.
Platinum.
It's a good way to put it. I think they already named it. We're past that point, but I like it.
Okay.
Maybe for the next one.
So, is one of those going to come out in an American flag version later?
You never know.
We'll see.
That one might go in my car when we leave here.
Yeah, if I don't ship this one back.
Might disappear.
So, I don't want to mention a specific number, but what is this on an affordability level for a gun comparative to other Graco guns, and maybe competition type of similar technology, maybe?
Yeah, so I think, these two guns, obviously there's some technology that went into it, right? Some
Right.
changes. From a price standpoint, I would say without a doubt, the downtime that you're going to save is going to far exceed whatever cost you could have ever paid for
doubt.
these guns.
Your ROI is going to be pretty rapid.
Just in solvent savings,
Yep.
let alone the downtime and the serviceability.
You want to cover that at all or say anything?
I mean, they're industrial spray guns. Both of them are, and they're right in the price point that industrial spray guns are. It's not this ridiculous carbon fiber, you're never going to buy a gun. It's 100%, you need to look at this gun.
Okay. Listen, if you want more information about the manual Stellair gun, either the ACE or the aluminum body, or if you want to talk about, if you're in an automatic situation and you're interested in the cartridge style situation for the automatic version of the Stellair, reach out to us, 1-800-334-1001. Go to our website, airpower-usa.com, and just tell them you want to talk to somebody about the ACE gun or the manual Stellair gun. And we will make sure that happens. And if you want, we can probably bring you into one of our branches.
Absolutely.
And show you the gun, put it in your hand, and do a demo with it. So,
I think Nick said that one was going in my car.
Okay, yeah. Go to Kyle's house. Go to Kyle's house. He'll show you how to use that gun.
Got to paint his barn later tonight.
Are we planning on having these in pretty much all of our branches?
We are.
Okay, so we'll have those available for demo, and I'm sure our account managers will have them with them.
Absolutely.
To come in. Yes, you can have a demo with this gun before you decide to buy. Okay, again, 800-334-1001. We've loved having you sit with us again. Nick, awesome to have you on the podcast.
Thank you.
You're welcome back anytime.
We've got 3 more products to talk about.
You'll be back plenty.
Yeah. Well, so next time we'll schedule and we'll shoot a couple of these in a day and knock them out. Kyle, as always, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Very much. Jai, double salute. Thank you. And I'm going to close out this saying what we always say: manufacture it a great day.
Thank you for joining the Air Power Airwaves Podcast. Air Power Airwaves is a production of Air Power Inc. and Air Power Live Studios and is hosted by Travis Stirewalt. For more information, please visit airpowerairwaves.com. For more information on all of our products, brands, and manufacturing solutions, please visit airpower-usa.com. If you have any questions or need product support, please contact Air Power at 1-800-334-1001.